I've played around with streaming settings again, which is always a dodgy prospect, but it looks like things are not breaking, at least. I'm going to take a quick minute here and look at my actual channel, and I'll probably hear my voice, which always shocks me. Oops, don't make a clip. And we've got quality settings. This makes me very happy. Okay, so for some of you, this will be... oh, rats. Interesting. Oh no, okay, I think we're okay. Sorry, the only thing for me was I'm just taking a quick look at the... Just taking a look at the settings for Twitch. It seems to have tags now. I'm not 100% sure. I'm using a new broadcasting platform, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't drop too many frames while increasing the quality settings. And I also want to make sure that there's the transcodes and whatnot, because obviously if people are not able to enjoy the stream at you know, the way they used to, I have no interest in keeping those. But with any luck, a few of you will see a substantial improvement in terms of stream quality. Maximum quality. Yeah, the real worry I have, Johnny, is that this will translate. So once upon a time, you probably remember this time actually, there was no transcodes for anyone who wasn't a partner. And so essentially every time you raised your bit rate, you were cutting yourself off from the audience of people who had lower bandwidth. So and one of the ways that I've justified keeping like a smaller resolution and a lower bit rate is that when I was playing certain games, the frame rate would dip down. And so I was like, well, you know, I'm okay, you know, going with lower quality in order to achieve a certain frame rate in that. But I'm noticing that even with Cultist Simulator now, the frame rate's actually dipping below 60 frames per second, so that argument doesn't really hold anymore. You're at 160p right now, riveting stuff. Well, I mean, it's what my stream normally looks like, right? But yeah, welcome to Stellaris. I suspect there will be very small attendance today, and the reason for that, oh, looks like I'm finally starting to get a couple of dips in the frame rate. Maybe it'll go back up, maybe it won't. I actually this is the funny thing, so I actually set it, I tested this like multiple times, and as soon as I actually went to start a new game, that's when the frame rate dropped. Okay, well, we'll make this work. So yeah, the challenge here is that I was planning on properly starting the Ancient Relics Story Pack. Like, you know how normally with a game, whether it's Imperator, which we'll still be doing, by the way, or any of these, we usually do like a big playthrough for each patch. And one of the things that's so much fun is to actually build these different species. And I feel a little bit bad because, of course, normally Monday is the day that I do that sort of stuff. But holy smokes, yeah, my frame rate just got hammered. So the drawback here is that some of the people who normally like watching this stuff will not be able to see it because, of course, I'm streaming in the afternoon, and I'm not necessarily getting any advantage because, of course, it's there's lots of really good streamers playing the game right now. But anyways, we'll work with what we've got. I think we're back to most of the quality settings that I need. This is so weird to see everything dip down now because I tested this pretty extensively before going online. But Ancient Relics, the big thing here is, so as a story pack, there's no major transformations in terms of things like completely altering the hyperlane system or changing borders or anything along those lines. It's little tweaks and a lot of flavor. So we're focusing on, and again, the titular ancient relics are the really big highlight feature. Ooh. Skip frames detected 25%. Johnny, if you're still around, feel free to let me know if there's any weird stuff happening, because it's definitely behaving differently from what I was expecting. Maybe if we get in the game. So with ancient relics in mind, there's a few things that kind of come in mind. Yeah, if you can just let me know if there's like any weird stuff that happens as far as quality, because I can always like stop and start again in terms of changing the settings. I did actually pick a slightly different encoding setting before going live, so maybe that's the source. Anyways, in terms of looks for creatures, I mean, dwarves are definitely the sort of thing that we might be interested. Hey, Lyrosator, good to see you. There's not much motion. Yeah. Quality's okay. There might be some skips, but it's hard to tell. And the funny thing is that the majority of testing that I did was actually inside of the game itself, so it might just be this screen that I'm running into the difficulty for. Yeah, I knew Johnny would be happy with that. Lyrosator, I'm curious, are you a Stellaris player at all? The other ones that I was thinking, I mean, we've got these big fellows here. The last time that we played sort of a religious group. This is the fun thing, right? If you wanted, you can now finally realize, I was hoping that Velkin would be around here. Hello, CKY2 Kendall. What the hell are we doing, even considering the other options? Well, you see, the big thing here is, Johnny, you know that I like playing, Cultist Simulator. So I was thinking something along the lines of, oh, I don't know. So now we've got our subversive cult, and we'll just change our ruler a little bit. What have we got? I think this might work. And there we go. Something like... Oops. And where were we? Oh, you played Stellaris. Sorry, I need to actually catch up with people's chats, but as you can see, I'm in the throes of creativity here. Where's the Empire name? There we go. All right, so you played Stellaris a lot, though never on very hard difficulties. Always look forward to the AK piece of writing in there. Yes, for those of you who don't know, the Horizon Signal, which we actually got on our last playthrough, was it's actually the reason I found Cultist Simulator originally. Johnny Big Time says, play dwarves who just want to obtain riches from every corner of the galaxy and hoard it all for themselves. They trust nobody but other dwarves, and if you try and mess with them, they will destroy you. That's your playthrough right there. I'm feeling good about this, actually. Why not be fanatic spiritualist? That's probably way closer to a cult than... Yeah. So if you ever want to... Like, this is how you can actually make... and better still, you know, with the new story pack, you actually have vaults that you can now go and plunder for relics. And so if you want a Cultist Simulator playthrough of Stellaris, you actually have it built into this right now. We've got a subversive cult You got the Mirror of Glory. This is the best representation I've got. Background fully mixed. You got Pope Clifton right here. This is basically this exact same game. Anyways, we will not play the Mirror of Glory. I'd love to do this at some point, but I'm actually really feeling this dwarf idea here. I was originally thinking of doing these guys as Vault Hunters, but I really like this idea of the space dwarves. So, by the way, guys, this is a little, like, I know that sounds, this is obviously just silly, because we always, like, wind up taking an hour at the beginning of any new Stellaris playthrough, to sort of play around with the species and that. But this is, to me, kind of the heart and soul of Stellaris, that there is just this huge canvas that you can sort of really paint anything that you want onto it. And the basically the customization through all of the patches that they've added now have actually made it so that this weird little indie game that I love can essentially be realized as a species inside of the game. Stellaris is basically all of science fiction packed into one game. So I know it's a little funny, it's a little bit of fan service, but it's important to remember, like, this is definitely something that this is kind of the reason the game exists, is so that you can do any of this stuff. Cecilia says, when you show up, you're watching your Ghoul VOD on YouTube and seeing you making the Mirror of Glory here in Stellaris. Yeah, I'm not actually going to do my Cultist Simulator one, although now knowing that Lyra Zyder and Alexis Kennedy are Stellaris players, I'm, by God, one day going to find a way to get you all into a multiplayer game and we can each take our own cult. I'm playing the new story pack, Dr. Frankenbinder. Alright, so let's pick... by the way, I am going to be relying pretty heavily on Johnny here for his dwarf expertise. So we've got D apostrophes, Jopra Vegan. I mean, these kind of seem like dwarfish names. Natukan Iblen, that's not really a Talsep, Ronavel, Taloln. I don't know, Japratoros, Vicultoris, Japracap. This seems probably the most dwarfish of the names. So, all right, we'll work with that. All right, so dwarves. Now, the tricky thing here is that they are definitely industrious. But they're also good at making money. This is the funny thing. Like, they generate minerals, but the minerals that they get is gold. And obviously we don't have the best that we've got for gold would be energy. So ingenious members of the species are good at thinking outside the box and know how to maximize the efficiency of their infrastructure and power grids. I still kind of feel you can't really do dwarves that are not industrious. So I guess we're kind of obligated to do that. Of course, you can also say they're like natural engineers. We'll say they're non-adaptive. I feel like dwarves are pretty quarrelsome, but they're also strong. Okay, so we'll say they're strong. See, the thing is, all of the things you normally associate with dwarves kind of exceed the number of picks that you get. Maybe lazy dwarves are not very industrious? Yeah, it's a tricky one. We'll definitely say they're natural engineers. Slow breeding? Oh yeah, slow breeding is a good idea. The catch here now, of course, is that I've got the surplus of points, but I don't have any more trait picks left. So, yeah, you know what? I'm okay with non-adaptive. Yeah, I think we'll work. I don't know how Johnny. I think Johnny is going to be. I'm sorry, this is pure favoritism, but we're going to say that Johnny is the final arbiter of any dwarf lore. For those of you who don't know him, actually, by the way, let me take a minute here and do a proper shout out for my man Johnny Big Time. Johnny has basically had a natural affinity with dwarves for his entire life. Every time there is a game, he will play the dwarves. The dwarves could be the worst species in a game, and he would still be, he would still pick them as like the absolute best. And there's no stopping him from his dwarves. So what are the choices? All right, so what we've got right now, we're saying that the dwarves are industrious. Members of the species are known for their diligent and hardworking nature, always going above and beyond. They're non-adaptive. The species does not adapt well to foreign environments. They're strong. Members of the species possess great physical strength, making them formidable fighters on the ground. And they're natural engineers. Members of the species have a natural inclination towards engineering and the material sciences. Dwarves could never be the worst because they're dwarves. All seems good so far. Yeah, some of the other ones you were considering were slow breeders, quarrelsome. I mean, in some versions you can say that the dwarves are wasteful, but the thing is that we only get a certain number of trait picks. So, okay. Now, this is going to be a tough one, because normally in all the fantasy stuff that we see, dwarves live in sort of like human... You would go with quarrelsome? So the trick here is that to get quarrelsome, I would have to switch one of these other ones. So like to take quarrelsome, I would have to take out non-adaptive and then maybe one of the other ones. Yeah, so quarrelsome is a negative one. So essentially what I would be doing is I would be making my dwarves worse for no reason in that case. Yeah. All right, so our choices are deserts. Now, by the way, I think desert dwarves would be a really cool idea one day. I've never seen desert dwarves before, but there's no reasons they shouldn't. They can live on an arid world, they can live on a savanna world, an ocean world, continental, tropical, arctic, alpine, and tundra world. I kind of feel like alpine might be the best out of all of them. So mountainous world with a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, snow covers the mountaintops, and frozen over lakes dot the valleys, while the planet experiences minimal seasonal variations. The still liquid water beneath the frozen surface of the lakes is enough to sustain some hardy vegetation. Desert dwarves or frost dwarves? Alpine or frozen? Okay. We'll say... Oh. Well, yeah, I like... It's not my first time playing Stellaris, but like you don't have to max out everything each time. I also really like Unity, so all right. Is Mitra a good homeworld name? I know we've already done Mitra in another playthrough. Let's try again. Vryn. Ooh, Old Albania. Anything with old in the front is automatically a dwarven name. So yes, this is 100% what we're going for. Now here's a hard one. We need to pick. Okay, so this is the humanoid city. These sort of peaks. The thing is that as far as dwarven architecture is concerned, I almost think the reptilian city looks a little bit better, or the mammalian city actually. So. I think the mammalian city is the most blocky of the architectures. I'm liking the way this looks. I know it's maybe not that apparent to people who are watching at home. Okay, so I think the idea of a dwarven megacorp is amazing, and we should probably try this one day. But let's think. So I guess dwarves have a king, so I kind of feel you have to have an imperial. Although a dwarven democracy sounds like a really fun idea. But yeah, I don't know. Dwarves always have kings. Imperial governments are similar to dictatorial ones, except that the throne is always inherited by a designated successor upon the ruler's death. Now, of course, we want to really be focusing on the acquisition of artifacts and such. A dwarven democracy would never get anything done ever. Yeah, I don't know. One day I feel like I need to come up with a dwarven megacorp, but yeah, we're not going to be a cult. Hello, Melemony. We're busy making our relic hunters here. All right, so we've got aristocratic, elite. Actually, you know what? Let's start by thinking about some civics. So I kind of feel like materialist makes some sense here. I don't know how much I'm going to be doing robots, but let's say we go well, at least go light materialist here. Well, I guess we have to have militarist dwarves. That kind of goes without saying. Now, we could make them authoritarian. We could also make them xenophobic. But I guess if they're xenophobic, they wouldn't really want to go looking for the treasures of other species. Oh, who was that? Is that Melemony hosting? I like this new OBS thing that I'm using here, but man, it makes it hard to see who hosted. Yes, Melemony, thank you very much for the host. I'm sorry I didn't recognize that right away. And by the way, they want the treasure because it will get them money. It does get released on June the 4th, yes. I was given a press key from Paradox. There's quite a few people playing the ancient relics right now. All right. So they want the treasure because it will get them money. That's true. I mean, I suppose you don't have to be xenophobic to do digs of other civilizations. I just always feel like that's more of a xenophilic thing. I mean, I can make them fanatic militarists too. Can you sell the treasure? Normally you put them in like museums and things like that. You can sell them to private collectors, but they're private collectors amongst your society. I really don't want to do fanatic materialist because I always pick that. Digging up could also be seen as xenophobic. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We'll be xenophobic. All right. So we're a star empire. So let's pick. We've got 2 civic points. If we really want to go on the whole, dwarven thing, we can go mining guilds. We're already producing a ridiculous amount of minerals as it is. We could start as mechanists. So this would actually have. We would have like a whole bunch of. We'd have a whole bunch of automaton. I guess that would make us like the Dwemer in Elder Scrolls. So that would be online. We could be barbaric despoilers. This society holds few things sacred. To fight is to live. The strongest may seize what they covet. What else? I definitely feel like a Byzantine bureaucracy is a bit dwarven. The society is largely governed by a complex and to the outsider almost labyrinthine system of bureaucracy. An army of officials and functionaries work tirelessly to keep the government running smoothly and ensure that no citizens are allocated resources they cannot demonstrate a properly filed and triple-stamped need for. You know what? I'm definitely... My dwarves are very bureaucratic. Functional architecture definitely seems like a very dwarven thing to have. This society is renowned for its simple yet functional architecture. There are those who would prefer this building style as boring or even depressing, but in most cases, neoconcrete does the job just as well as any other building material. I know that's definitely not... I mean, I think most dwarven architecture is considered to be really, like... beautiful. What else? We could be post-apocalyptic. Baptized by nuclear fire, the society has faced total annihilation and survived. Devastated yet unbroken, they have rebuilt civilization from the ashes of an old world. You cannot be simultaneously a materialist and spiritualist. You can enslave people if you are a machinist, but you don't start off with slaves. So if we wanted to enslave people, we would go for the syncretic evolution, but it's one or the other at the beginning. We could do Philosopher King. It is not enough to simply rule. The ship of state must be guided by a king that wields enough wisdom and knowledge to steer it through. Man, actually, yeah, the sage... Feudal society. Feudal society is always a tricky one because the subject, this would be one that we develop, is better to develop later on. And then, I mean, there is also the obvious, mining guilds. Doesn't really change. I could do Philosopher King. Yeah, I don't know. I like the wise elder dwarf, especially because the big thing for me is I'm doing things that I don't normally do. I do a lot of materialist playthroughs. I don't play xenophobes a whole lot. But yeah, I like this idea of the enlightened monarchy. So, all right. This government is a hereditary form of enlightened autocracy where a strong emphasis is put on the knowledge and qualifications of a ruling monarch. So let's move on.
These alien savages must be taught to kneel when in the presence of their betters.
Boundless horizons, endless learning opportunities, bleeding edge discoveries.
Only in battle can the true metal of any sentient organism be measured. Have at thee.
Hull integrity failing, decompression imminent. It's been an honor, Captain.
There is no Scottish accent, but I suppose if we wanted to go proper dwarf, we might try.
The springs of cooperation flow most abundant. Those who need will receive. Those who make will make wonders. The springs of cooperation flow most abundant.
The laws of science govern all. The blind masses must be led down the path of reason. The blind masses must be led down the path of reason.
I have a feeling that this would be like if I were to make a species that most reflects my, that most reflects my inner voice, it'd probably be this one.
Workers of the galaxy, unite.
Yeah, of course.
You have nothing to lose but your restraining fields.
Yeah, we have to do this one. All right, the Akano Dynastic Union. Oh, the Akano High Kingdom. This is perfect. All right. Now we need to pick a flag. I suppose let's try and find the most money-oriented one that we can find. Perfect. I'll just double check and see if there's anything a little more appropriate to dwarves, but I'm pretty sure I mean, maybe a pyramid, but... Ooh, this is dwarven. Stubborn as an ox. Now I know Johnny's favorite colors are like red and black. I don't know if it's really as appropriate for this one though. Square and blocky, anvil in it, you win. Well, there's definitely a blocky one. I don't think there's any anvils, though. I'm definitely open to suggestions on this one. This could be like a fancy space hammer or a key. Actually, this one might work. A third from the left. Oh wait, that one on the third row, third from the left. Okay, so third row, third. This one. I'm also really curious about these frame drops. So, has anybody noticed any like skipped frames or frame drops or anything along those lines while I set this up? That looks like a cool dwarven glyph. Okay, so I guess the last question now is what do we do as far as colors are concerned? Primary colors. We'll start everything black. I definitely feel like red and... No frame drops here? Okay, good to hear. I kind of like these imperial looking colors. I know Johnny is going to be mad at me for not going for... I don't know. It's kind of working for me. Gold and blue. Actually, you know what? I bet I could make gold and blue work pretty well on this one. I don't know, I want to make sure that the glyph is still apparent, but what do you guys think of that? We can try some of these other patterns, but I don't know, there's something about the way this looks that's speaking to me. We still have a couple more steps to go, and then of course we need to come up with a backstory for this one, but well, Johnny, I said like straight at the beginning that this was like you were sort of the authority on on dwarves, so I was sort of deferring to you. Now the standard humanoid ship is this one in the top left corner, but I definitely feel that this is a dwarven. I feel like this is a dwarven ship. So we'll move. I think we're gonna move on that. Again, this one I'll just say speak now or forever hold your peace, but that's a wise choice. Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Oh, this is a shame. High King. All right. Now we gotta pick. Okay, first of all, we'll pick a room. I feel something with an artifact is most appropriate, so I'm most inclined towards this one. This might work as well, but I just don't think I mean, the window is very dwarven, but the pots. By the way, I had a completely different idea. I was gonna make Harrison Jones and basically an Indiana Jones style one, but as soon as, because Johnny was in here, I thought, no, obviously dwarves are the option. So we've completely changed what my original plan was. I definitely feel like this is the one we should be doing for our dwarven archaeologists. So you see a little bit of frame drops. Okay, I'm going to be interested. What I might do is I might stop the stream and restart it to change one of my encoding settings. But Harrison Jones, the dwarven. Oh, 16 is cool for a dwarven looking thing? Let's take a look. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know, Johnny, how strongly do you feel? Because I think the only thing is the window looks a little funny, but yeah, we'll call him Harrison Jones, but we don't know what the rest of the... Alright, now the important thing, hairstyles. Now, I am definitely inclined towards this fancy stuff. If I could get even more ringlets, I'd be even happier. Thing is, this is not going to be a permanent feature. This is only going to be true of the first one, so... Bran Bronzebeard. Also, hello, Dreamslayer. I think that window looks elvish, and as a dwarf professional, you hate elvish. Oh, and lots of frame drops now. Okay. Tell you what, guys, I'm going to end the stream real quick. I'm going to flip a switch, and I'm going to see if I can get that fixed. Okay? I'll be back in a sec.